homes from yet another subdivision. These homes make up what's called Geneva Bay Estates. If you look at the first three homes in the subdivision, you see they stand on a little bit of a rise. And that's because that was the site of one big home at one time. The Funnett's home of Nathaniel Kellogg Fairbank was built here back in 1874. N.K. Fairbank Company was made wide oil refinery products. You know what that is? After the 1940s. Prior to that time, this was another old lakefront estate. This one was called Snug Harbor. And if you look ahead of us, you might notice that white Victorian boathouse. The boathouse dating back to 1881 is one of the few original estate buildings. This is actually where Mary and George Sturgis moved just before they gave Library Park in the city of Geneva. However, the five-story English Tudor manor that stood just to the left of the boathouse burned to the ground back in the 1950s due to an electrical short circuit. Another former owner of the Snug Harbor property was a guy named John Borden. Mr. Borden was a member of the family and he founded the Borden.
So the first building I'm going to talk about is that modern brick building behind the Riviera Beach, and that's the Lake Geneva Public Library. That prairie-style building was designed by Mr. James Grutzer, who is a student of the famous architect Frank Lloyd Wright. Now that was actually donated by an early summer resident of the name of Mrs. Sturgeon.
They were virtually penniless when they arrived in America. Otto started out by selling costume jewelry from a push cart on the sidewalks of New York City, but during his lifetime he amassed a very sizable fortune for himself and his family. After the Chicago fire of 1871, he moved to Chicago, where he eventually made a fortune in real estate and invested every nickel he could scrape.
Investment advisor named Richard Driehaus. Mr. Driehaus had that property meticulously restored, and as you can see, is a truly fine example of historic preservation. He's very well known around this lake for the lavish birthday parties he throws. On average, he invites about 1,200 guests every year. My favorite theme is the Route 66 theme he had, where he had a bunch of old antique cars parked on his front lawn. Not only that, but he went out and got a brand new cherry red Corvette. Party favor for that night?